Welcome to Mac
and Jack Talks NBA.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode. Today's episode is a little bit special because we want to give a shout out. So instead of hello, maybe hola, because we got our first Spanish fan listening to our podcast. We see you. We want to give you a shout out. Hola, gracias por escuchar Amaos Español. Pau Gasol. Yeah, shout out to Pau Gasol too. He moved to Barcelona, Team A. So if Pau, you want to join our podcast and come on and talk about how after playing so many years in the NBA and going back to your hometown, give us a shout, send us an email. We'll invite you. We'll leave a spot for you.
Yeah, and congratulations, with your marriage these past several years and all these other good news. Hope you're doing good. Give us a shout out. Come on our podcast. Just because we cool. I've been a fan of you for a long time.
Yeah, we actually have been a fan. So we're gonna run through some quick NBA news that's happened for the last few days. First one is Enes Kanter of the Portland Trail Blazers. We've been watching him for a long time too. He just posted a Blazers franchise record of 30 rebounds. What do you think about that, Jack?
Yeah, I think that's pretty impressive because Portland doesn't have any really good big men over the years. So I was surprised to hear that no one has broken that record before, especially for the modern NBA, because, since the game is more simplified, the plays are a bit more refined, your responsibilities are a bit more refined too. So I thought that record would have been broken easily since, just most players nowadays just shoot the threes. No one really cares about the rebounding or shot blocking besides the traditional center like Rudy Gobert, and all these Dwight Howard and all these other impressive mobile centers. So great for you, I was a big fan of you already when you were in your first stint of in the Portland Trail Blazers, where you guys went into the Western Conference Finals. You played a big part of it when Nurkic was out, so that's pretty impressive. And now you're at your second stint of with the Portland Trail Blazers after your year with the Celtics. I think you've been doing a great job, filling in the startup center when you need to.
Yeah, Enes Kanter is a very tough player. What I know from him is that he's known as a very offensive player. He does very well, but defensively he's lacking a little bit. But the end of every possession in terms of defense is grabbing that offensive or defensive board. And so that kind of shows that he can contribute to that defense. Like Jack said, when Nurkic was out in the playoffs and Enes Kanter was actually playing with an injured rib, I believe, he still played through it and played quite well and helped Damian Lillard and the rest of the team push it and be able to afford that front lineup to defend. So good for you as well. And with all those political issues you've been having with Turkey, we support you. I was surprised to hear that Enes Kanter 30 rebounds is actually not an NBA record. So a little fun fact was, Jack said Andre Drummond and Kevin Love probably beat that record. So Andre Drummond career high in rebounds was 29 rebounds, and Kevin Love's career high rebounds probably back when he was with the Minnesota Timberwolves was 31 rebounds. Crazy numbers. The most number of rebounds ever by an NBA player in history obviously went to Wilt Chamberlain with 55 rebounds. We all know the legend of Wilt Chamberlain. Some other shout out we want to give as well. Gary Trent Jr. Recently traded to the Toronto Raptors, scores a career high 44 points. What else? Another thing. Wow, LeBron James is another 3 weeks away from coming back. This is probably the longest time I've seen LeBron James been injured and away from the game. So, LeBron, hope you get well. When you get well, you want to get an episode on our podcast, you're most likely welcome as well.
Totally, champ. You gotta come on our podcast. We gotta help, refine some of the rebuttals that you from the media and stuff. So I want to talk about the Golden State Warriors. So recently they lost against the Washington Wizards, but then yesterday they won against the Houston Rockets, I believe, without John Walls. What I see was losing to the Washington Wizards. It's pretty disgusting. I would use the word because I don't want to use profanity because that would just make the channel go wild, with all the.
This is not the Golden State Warriors. This is the G League Warriors.
Yeah, sorry, the G League Warriors, but
use the right name.
Yeah, so I just saw a meme where people were saying that they should free Steph because Steph is in the awkward phase, like when Kobe was playing with Smush Parker and
who else? Kwame Brown.
Kwame Brown and Chris Mim, whoever his name is. So right now, Steph Curry is in an awkward phase where Klay Thompson is Draymond Green is just being Draymond Green, only useful in the defensive side.
Wiseman's now out too.
Yeah, Wiseman, G-Leaguer Wiseman is out right now. Kelly Oubre Jr. had some kind of mystery injury, but we all know that's probably an excuse for being so weak.
Wiggins is not showing up.
No, Wiggins does his job, averaging 15.
Oh, man.
That's what number one draft pick in the 2014 in the year draft in the year pick of 2014. That's what he's about to average, so that's about right,
Yeah, one last thing we're going to talk about, somewhat basketball related before we move on to our second topic is, I don't know about you, Jack, but last week I saw the Space Jam New Legacy trailer, and I was quite excited for it. I'm quite excited to see Don Cheadle playing as the bad person, LeBron James with his cast of Damian Lillard, Anthony Davis, and some other WNBA players. I'm excited to see that. How about you?
Yeah, from the poster, what I saw was very colorful. I believe that really suits the modern day, while adding some retro vibe. I dig that,
Cool. So we want to talk about something a little bit off season this episode because a lot of fans, all 20 of you, a lot of our fans, seems to really like those off-season episodes where we talk about other things besides strictly NBA basketball. So what we're going to talk about today is a basketball player, if you could even call him that we kind of know, an acquaintance that we know.
I would call it a basketball bully because it's not fair in terms of a normal average person's height and mentality.
He's a weird person, and we're just gonna talk about weird basketball players that we don't like and why. So why don't we like, we're not gonna name him, we're just calling him X. Why don't we particularly like X, Jack?
Yeah, well, X has several, I wouldn't say few, but several weird points where the fact that he has some weird tendency to play basketball with kids. Is that the right word?
Yeah. High school kids.
Elementary school kids.
Oh, elementary school kids.
Yeah, he likes to, play ball with them, and then
he'll probably play a grandpa if he could.
If the grandpa is able to be suited up, yeah, maybe, possibly. So what he likes to do is he asks to play the kid or the high schooler, and dude's about 5'11" above.
Yeah.
So
he's well above 6'3". He's well above 6 feet.
Yeah, probably. I wouldn't deny that, but so what he likes to do is he challenges the other opposing opponent or
high schooler,
whatever you like to call it. So what he likes to do is he's like, can we have a game? And then after he starts playing ball, he is like a sociopath or psychopath. or bipolar
He's bipolar.
bipolar personality. Like he just starts like eight crapping you, and then it's like I'm gonna dominate your behind. I'm gonna post the X out of you. Like, and then within for that one point, for that one offensive possession, he can at least grab 3 or 4 offensive rebounds due to his own missing just by tipping it in. It's like I was like seeing someone like playing like volleyball tipping, you know, like
Okay, so a few games come to mind. There's one where we were playing outdoors and we were playing against maybe high. This was when we were well into university and we were playing high school kids at high school age, and not like, you know, AAU grade 11, grade 12 guys from America that were dunking when they're 12. No, like these were regular dudes. Probably not even basketball players, just playing for fun. And that's actually how he talks too. Jack actually made a pretty good impression. He's like, "Hey guys, you guys want to play a game?" And then when they're like, sure, they're a bit hesitant because it's a grown ass man, well over 6 feet tall, and they're like, sure, whatever, right? They're up for the challenge. So shout out to those guys, man. Like, proud of you for accepting the challenge. And this guy plays like crazy. He plays so aggressively, even against kids way younger than him. There was one possession where I was in the post and I did a left hook, and then after the possession, I was like, wow, this kid's strong. Like, I couldn't even really move him. I had to go to my left hand. And he's like, yeah, he's a really wide base. And I just looked at him. I'm like, Ix, bro, you're like 6'4". Like, that kid is like 5'5" and 6 years younger than you. You probably outweigh him 50 pounds. Like, what are you talking about, bro? And he lacks skills for sure. His handles are very shaky, and he blames it for being a big man, which in reality he's not, because in the NBA he'll be playing a point guard, and he's slow. And he likes to go in the post, and he has no post moves. He loves going to post, posting on. He's like, give me the ball. And once you give him the ball, it's like a black hole. He'll never kick it out, and he'll get triple teamed for it.
Yeah. So what comes into mind is his trash talking level is like A+, like Kevin Garnett. But comes to playing ball, he's probably like the G League Warriors current state. Actually, no.
He's like Kwame Brown.
Yeah, Kwame Brown or Adam Morrison when he was in the pro NBA leagues, you know, not bad, not good, but
no, he was terrible.
That depends on personal preferences. In my perspective, I would say he's aight, but for his skill set, for his height, yeah, that is pretty garbage.
if he was 5'8", 5'9", 5'10", he would probably average 1 point a game.
Yeah. So another side story that with acquaintance X is. So, we were just chilling. Here, I believe, at where he resided in an apartment or so, he had this, like, outside basketball hoop or whatsoever, and then we were just fooling around. And then, so, as usual, you know, he talked smack, you know, so I was kind of pissed off. So I started to use my 5'6", 5'7", body height, you know, box out, and then he seems dumbfounded by my sudden superhuman strength. He was like, "Hey man, that's not right," you know.
And he'll elbow you in the kidneys.
Yeah,
this guy towers over us.
Yeah, he towers over us, and he's like, "Hey man, that's not right. Like, why you do that, man? That's so cheap." Like, dude. Are you just talking about being fair or cheating? You're 6 foot taller. I'm 5'6", 5'7". You really trying to say that it's not fair that you're posting me up, elbowing me, while I just boxed out on you? Like, bro, really?
All we discovered maybe after 6 months to a year after playing with him, to completely negate his height and ability, because his post moves are so garbage. You get position, you get him far away from the basket, and honestly, it doesn't even matter if he has close low post position, because you're strong enough, bother him, have active hands, put your post defense position. He'll miss his jump hook, and then he'll proceed to grab maybe 5 or 6 offensive rebounds and try to tip it in, a la like a Carmelo Anthony back in the day, except Carmelo Anthony actually had a quite of a quick spin move, and he was defended against 6'10" centers, unlike a Dwight Howard, and so he would have to quickly grab the rebound and then put it back in. Or a Karl Malone, maybe get 1 or 2 offensive rebounds. But this dude would be grabbing 5 or 6 consecutive offensive rebounds and clanking it.
In one possession.
One possession.
Let's emphasize, one possession. That's crazy.
Over a 15-year-old 5'5" kid that probably weighed 130 pounds.
Probably not. Probably 120 or so, because kids were pretty frail back then.
And I'm like, dude, if you can't finish the shot, just kick it back out. I have an open mid-range jumper. But he has no vision, and he's not a willing passer. And so it's just... And so if he does not make that layup within that 5 offensive rebounds, then he gets tired, and then he loses the rebound, and then he doesn't even play defense.
Yeah, so another story that came into mind was... let's add a little information. That dude was playing ball weekly with his friends, his acquaintances, by going into community centers, playing ball every single Friday night or Saturday morning. Also, he works out at the brand new oval that was built during 10 years ago. So let's not forget about the fact that this dude has been working out, playing weekly, just to bully against kids who are in high school who doesn't even work out or just playing ball for fun.
Also, he has a lot of gear. I think he had a Kevin Garnett jersey. He had his little elbow sweatband. He had his Jordans on.
Yeah, I believe he had his Jordans and like a great new ball that he bought from Sports Check whatsoever. Whatever, it's a fancy brand.
Yeah, I mean, we're not saying it's not cool to... Yeah, it's kind of not cool to have crappy skills and talk so much trash and go all crazy. It's not cool to be a bad teammate and not pass, not have skills. But what's not cool about it as well is dominating players that are not at your level.
And then making excuses when you lose or when you lose offensive possessions. Like, bro, man up, make up your mistakes, and just accept the fact that dude's out-rebounding you, out-balling you. Just be a man. Don't be like that.
Or when you practice, actually practice on your skills, work on your layups, work on how to not be negated by being boxed out, work on your mic drills, man. Use your left hand.
Yeah, so back to another story. So there was this one time where we went to, in Vancouver, there's such thing called the Oval. So we balled with several friends, like, I'll call him Fragile Tofu, because Fragile Tofu can just sprain his ankle just going skiing, and then just even, like...
He hurt his back going for a layup.
Yeah, hurt his back and slipping on the, slipping on the ground, and then he can somehow injure his ankle and stuff, so he is Fragile Tofu. So Fragile Tofu and Acquaintance X called us up to go ball with them at the community center called the Oval. And then, so yeah, we were just playing around, shooting, practicing our shots, getting warmed up. And then Acquaintance X challenges probably like university students. Back then,
it was person X was late and showed up an hour late. And then we played 3-on-3 with Fragile Tofu being the third man against 3 other university students. This is back when maybe we were in high school. And we were actually kind of competitive too in the beginning until Fragile Tofu just stops playing defense and starts talking to the other guy. And so it was 3-on-2. I think maybe even one possession he picked me while I was driving in, almost injuring me.
Yeah, so when I was trying to box out, grabbing my own rebound, he was just standing in front of me. And after I got the rebound, he was like, give me the ball, man. Fragile Tofu was like, give me the ball. So what I noticed was Fragile Tofu and Acquaintance X could possibly be good friends. However, they don't really like each other. That's the irony. So it's like, That's impressive because Fragile Tofu thinks that Acquaintance X is really childish. Not the brightest person of all, but that's depending on each person. I thought he was okay. And then
yeah, it's I would say he was not the brightest person either. Man, it's gonna sound like we're super bitter, but we're gonna be lighthearted about it. We don't really talk to Person X anymore, and we just want to have funny stories. We want to talk about why I say Person X is not the brightest bulb in the room. Is the following few stories. I believe we were well into our 20s, and he would drive his mom's car or family car.
oh, actually no. If you're talking about the gas station story,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
I believe we were in second last year of high school before graduation, so approximately grade 11 or so, since we just got our driver's license L or N. But we don't have a car, so he generally drives us around. So what he likes to do was, so one time he asked us to hang out after he picked me up from my place. His car was running low on gas. So what happened was we go to a gas station, just
Chevron, I guess.
just in normal in Vancouver or so, and then he asks. So the person who was working at the gas station asked, "Can you open your trunk or gas trunk to
So we can help you
so
fill
we can
gas.
so we can help you fill gas?"
And I was sitting right beside him, and so he asked me. So he didn't say anything for maybe 10 seconds, and the attendant asked him again, "Hey sir, can you open your gas tank up so I can help you fill the gas?" And he asked me, "Hey Mac, how do I open the gas tank?" I was like, "What do you mean? Like, does your car have a special mechanism that is different from the rest of the cars to open the gas tank?"
And not to mention, this dude Acquaintance X has been driving for
a long
like
time.
a long time, several months, probably
No,
possibly
years.
nearly a year, just on his mom's car.
Yeah.
So to not be able to find out where your gas tank is, I was
How to open it?
yeah, how to open it. I was actually pretty surprised. So I was like, it's probably within down your steering wheel.
Yeah, like on the bottom left for a gas car, I told him, hey, it's if it's like any other car, from what I know, I'm not a car person, it's on the bottom left hand side where the trunk is. And Jack said the same thing. And so he just sat down. He didn't say anything for maybe another 10 seconds. He says, no, I don't think so. That's the trunk.
Yeah, and I don't see it. Like I think it's only for the trunk. Like you have two handle. Well, so for both of them were for the trunks. Like that's pretty impressive. And then the attendant got annoyed, or so he was
The
like,
attendant had to tell him where it was.
yeah. So then he's like, oh really? And then the attendant helped him open the handle, and then like the gas tank open, and he's like, oh now I know where is it, because generally it's my mother who fills up for me. So I was like, dude, you're impressive. So you're telling me you've been driving for so long, you never pay for gas. Like I don't expect you to always pay for gas, but at least have the decency to fill it up when you finish using up your gas tank. Because this dude drives around everywhere, like
Everywhere.
Burnaby,
Far.
Vancouver, Surrey,
Richmond.
there and Delta, like there and back. Like from what I recall,
to Whistler and back.
yeah, Whistler and back. So what I recall was there was this one story where he also had this high schooler friends that we went to the same school with. They were pretty close. They constantly played ball every single week Friday night, but that dude resides in Burnaby. So what sometimes he would do is, the friend of Acquaintance X would call Acquaintance X, be like, "Yo, can you give me a ride? I'm all the way at Burnaby." So the dude drives. So Acquaintance X was kind enough to drive all the way to Burnaby, and Acquaintance X's friend sometimes make even Acquaintance X wait for an hour or two because he has to get ready. Like, dude, back then, K-pop fashion or the beauty cosmetic blogger wasn't even that impressive yet. So you're already getting ahead of the trend. So like, good for you. You have a good insight. But you take 2 hours for a dude. Yo, bro, what's going on? Like, you putting up your foundation. You need to cleanse your skin. Put on a mask.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. There's a lot of whack people out there. Another story from Person X. One time, so one time we went to sushi and we were ordering. This might be the last story of this podcast. There's many more. We might have a part 2. Anyways, we went to sushi once, and he chose a sushi restaurant that was a little bit out of the range of our budget. And I was looking at the menu, and he's been there before. And I was deciding, hey, if you're gonna choose all these things, let's go for a combo. But he's like, no, I don't want to eat this, but I want to eat that. I'm like, all right, why don't you choose? So he chooses, maybe in a combo there are 4 things. He will choose 3 of the 4 things, but then order it separately. So you get like the worst bang for your buck. And not only that, I think he only brought $10 in cash. And so this was before the time where people tap their debit cards. I don't know why it was like that. We didn't tap our debit cards or credit cards, but we just all brought cash to pay.
I believe because back then
it wasn't
the common idea of constantly using your debit card or we didn't have MasterCard because MasterCard.
We were under 19, so we didn't have a credit card.
We were in our teens, so we're not allowed to have.
I don't know why we didn't use debit cards.
I believe it's because our parents' teaching was you don't really use your debit card because cash was more valuable. You can get the exact change, and you can do Dutch Pay, double AA Pay, whatever you
split it. Yeah,
split the bill. So under my parents' teaching, I do constantly just bring cash. I don't really have an idea or even the concept of constantly bringing out my debit card. So, yeah. So that dude only brings $10. It's like an ass. Hey man, I don't have enough cash. Can you cover up for me? It's like,
did you order $30 for each person? And I brought 20, I think.
Yeah, and I only had another 20. So I think the bill was like 40 something 50 back then, which was pretty cheap back then. Because in current dates, it probably would have been $70 to $80.
No, like back then 50 was a lot. But like nowadays, it's probably not as much because of inflation. This was going back maybe 7 years ago.
No, probably not even 7 years ago. Probably like 12 years ago.
12 years ago. Yeah, yes. But back then, it was quite a bit. And I was like, dude, did you not look at the price beside the item that you order like a normal person, like a non-billionaire person? Yeah,
so this acquaintance X is a bit wealthier compared to us back then. So his understanding of spending is different from what we were taught. So to have that disparity between monetary value, I was actually quite surprised because I was like, so you order something, but you don't check the price. Which not to mention, you could have ordered in a combo and you probably would have got more in value.
Yeah, we probably could have saved $10, $15.
I'll say $20 because back then $20 was a big difference.
And he would order everything. I think one combo, he ordered everything from it separately, or maybe missing one item. It was the most, like, I understand you didn't order the combo because you wanted separate things that the combos didn't encompass, but it was easily you could have comboed this. And it was just, man, that was crazy.
Yeah, so if you like these stories about acquaintance X or person X, whatever you like to call it, please make sure to listen to it, share with friends, and just, if the viewership or listenership is enough, we'll continue with the part 2.
Yeah, we'll continue talking about NBA, but we want to give you these funny stories, these personal stories that a lot of our listeners from analytics show on Spotify that you like to listen to.
And it seems that you guys like diverse content instead of just constantly NBA so we'll just tell you about some of the life or interesting life stories that we've had up till the amount of years that we've lived right now.
Yep, so thanks again for listening. We're going to wrap this up right now. Bye, guys.
Thanks for listening. This is the end of today's episode.
Please like, share with friends, and subscribe.